Welcome to Talk in the Monarchy. This is episode 2 with Tom Highmore. Tom, thanks again. Let's get this in.
I was going to say, let's do that handshake.
Guys, thank you very much for tuning in for the second episode. We're going to find and delve into a little bit more about Tom's transformation away from CrossFit and then his new career. You touched on it a little bit earlier.
Did I spoil it?
No, it's not a spoiler because I want it to be open forum. I want the conversation to flow. I don't want it to be too scripted. I do have some kind of story type questions, but it's only to kind of try and drag it back to keep it flowing. But for those who don't know, Tom Highmore today, the man, the myth, the legend.
Sorry, for a third person, I got to talk about myself.
Tell the guys, tell the camera, what is life today? If someone asks you what your profession is, what do you tell them?
Acting now.
Love it.
Yeah, nice and simple. I mean, it was a change of careers that happened during COVID. I'm not going to stare down the barrel the whole time, but a change of careers that happened during COVID. So it was kind of like we had spoke about in the last episode. I was kind of getting to the point where I was like, okay, I'm done with training in CrossFit. And then I was like, right, universe, show me what's next.
Talk to me.
Yeah, because I was kind of exploring things. And I was listening to, podcast books, it's like, right, just start casting the net wide, see what sticks.
Yeah.
And it had to be passion driven ultimately for me. And so I couldn't get just like, okay, let me get into a finance job or insert whatever profession. I had done construction as a young lad, got into fitness. And so my next thing, I was like, well, what is this going to be? So anyway, COVID happens, world shuts down, I'm willing the universe to give me some signs. We start doing content for our gym, start filming content. And basically the last little part of throughout my career coaching, I very much enjoyed putting on a bit of a show for the class. Like my whole thing was kind of put on some fun music, sing along, get everyone dancing, have a bit of a laugh, put on a bit of a performance. So when we started filming this content, I mean, everyone was at home on their own. So I was just like, I'm going to put a costume on, put some music, dance around, make it a bit of a show.
Is this where you tell us about the cross-dressing?
Yeah, of course. That as well, obviously. I'm a drag queen on the side. But anyway, I started doing these videos and I was like, I love being in front of a camera. Always have. So I was like,
and people must have reacted well to it.
Yes,
right?
sorry.
So
Yes,
I imagine you're being a character, you're being funny. COVID's miserable. People are by themselves. So I imagine you're doing these skits or whatever it is you're doing, and people going, "Fuck me, you're hilarious," or entertaining at least.
Yes, exactly.
Right,
that was it. It
good.
was kind of like
so the feedback's
my
good.
goal was to make everyone smile. It wasn't like, oh, this is a self-indulgent. Well, I guess it was self-indulgent, but it was there to make people smile. Yeah. So people were enjoying it. I was having fun with it. I was like, I love being in front of a camera. And I was like, I wonder if acting is my next thing. And then my immediate thing I shut myself down. I was like, no, I'm not. Well, who do I think I am? I'm not doing that. Like, don't take yourself so seriously. It was all this very negative kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, months go by. I kind of start feeling like I'm seeing more and more signs for it, I don't know if it's just like the confirmation bias, when you start to think something, you see something, you're like, oh, that means I should do X, Y, Z.
But you were probably exploring how to get into it a bit more. And you were probably looking at certain content a bit more, because you're curious, right?
Yeah.
And you spoke earlier on about your learning from when you're a coach, you're paying for these courses, you're putting through yourself with education, and there was not as much education as a teen for reference panic attacks and not going to school. Yeah. So you've almost got that thirst for it. It hasn't been sapped out of you in school, college, and university, right? Yeah. You've come to CrossFit and it's like, I want to learn everything, right? Yeah. So you've probably, and I'm making a guess, of course, but you've probably gone, I wonder about this, and then you start looking into it. You want to learn about it, consuming more content. I'm sure it helps push that bias, right?
Yeah.
I could do this.
Yeah, I think so. I think it, and to your point about not doing schooling and maybe not having one sapped out of me, but I also think there's a powerful insecurity there, if I'm going to be quite honest about it. Yeah. We talk about what's our motivation for things. It can be as kind of simple as, I I want to be the best in the room. But I'm like, man, when, you know, not going to school, it left me so insecure about my intelligence and basically being like, not having any formal education. And even from friends who weren't that bright, they're like, oh, you dumb fuck, you don't go to school. You know, and I'm like, man, you can't even spell your name. No, something, but you know, like that's how mean you are as kids.
Yeah.
You know, but still, it sat with me. I was massively insecure about that. So I think I've always had a thirst for knowledge, especially if there's a subject I'm passionate about. But that was a big insecurity for me. So I think when I started to get into something, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this,
You're going all in.
I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
So then long story short, I started, I got in touch with a friend who was an actor. You know, the nice thing about Vancouver is there was a lot of filming happening there. So I had friends in the industry. And so I spoke to someone and I sort of said, right, this has got to be on the low right now, but I'm thinking that acting is something I want to get into. And so where do I start? And they were like, okay, great. Here's some teachers who will be great for you to start with. And I guess I went from there. That was beginning of 2021. So
you told me you didn't tell anyone?
No.
Not even like a partner at the time or your brothers? Because I know you're close with both Ben and James.
Yeah, no, initially I had one friend who had become sort of like a bubble, you know how you had your bubble people during COVID?
Oh, yeah.
And so he lived close by, and it was a friend who'd been out of town for a while, and he came back into town, and we just kind of, you know how, like, he'll be a friend for life, but you have different seasons of your life where you're really close to certain people. Like, that was like our season there for like a couple of years where we were each other's like kind of best friends in so many ways. And so he was the one that I was talking to about it. He was going through a similar period of change himself.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't want anyone to know. I don't want any judgment. I don't need pressure. I don't know what this is yet myself. I was kind of, I know that this is where I've got to go, but I don't know if it's because I'm going to become a full-time actor or if it's just that this is the next step for me on my journey. So I didn't want anyone to know.
How long before you sort of shared it with the world?
Oh, with the world, a long time. I told my brother in Canada, Ben, I told him within that year, I'm sure.
Okay. And how
then it was like family was more months later than that, and then other friends, it was like 2 years. So I've been doing classes like secretly from my friends and my work because I didn't want them to know, because I was like, I mean, I was still showing up and doing my job. So I was like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm doing great. I've done this job for so long that I can do it with my eyes closed at this point. So I was like, as long as I show up and I work the mornings and I was done by, middle of the day. So then I just focus on acting.
How did people respond when you told them?
Generally great.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's a time where some people were like, what? But they were excited for me.
Yeah.
I think people were just happy, and then,
supportive.
Yeah, supportive. I mean, also, I was still nervous. What was so funny about starting acting was like, you can be confident and considered a confident person in certain aspects of your life. And, stand me up in front of a room for people to teach CrossFit at that time. Like I said, I've been doing it so long. I did so many courses. So I was like, I could be super relaxed, put on a great show, tell everyone what they need to know, tweak someone's technique, with one glance. But then stand me up in front of a room full of people to learn acting and stand up and read this little short paragraph, speak this short paragraph that you've just memorized. Yeah. And I just shrank, It was so scary. It was so intimidating. And to be, what it was? And that was what everyone would benefit. I think everyone could benefit from, whether it's specifically acting classes or something similar. It was almost like group therapy in the way that you had to access emotions because you have to have them on tap. And you have to stand up and be honest. And when I was teaching a CrossFit class, and you might feel the same way, and you might feel the same way in general, you do sales and stuff like that, like, oh, Ryan, like, who's Ryan? It's like, Ryan's like the guy, like, hey man, how you doing? Chat to everyone. And you can be that guy, but then it's like, hey Ryan, like, stand up, take a deep breath. How do you feel? Yeah, I'm fine. No, like, how do you feel? Yeah. And it's like, fuck you. It's like Good Will Hunting. Yeah. Where he's like, it's okay. He's like, no, not you, man. Yeah. It was like that. So I couldn't share it with people initially because it was so jarring for me.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
Talk about like stress. Like training creates stress on your body, which is what you need to grow.
Yeah.
Putting your muscles under load so they break down and they build up stronger. It's a cheesy metaphor, but it's true. The nice thing is my background in fitness and weightlifting has set me up so perfectly for anything else now, because I know that consistently doing something over time, and again, it's like trite now because everyone says it, but consistently doing something over time will yield results.
Yeah.
How specific you are and how much you do other things, whatever else, but you have to put your body under stress in order for it to grow stronger. So I'd done all these different things, but up until that point in my life where this was the hardest thing I'd ever done.
Yeah. No, that's fair. And I suppose that's a little bit about what we spoke about earlier.
Yeah, 100%.
16 years old. Yeah, 16 years old. The worst thing that's happened to you that day is your mum's taken away from your mobile phone.
Yeah.
Or
and
the girl.
I can't text my friend.
So this is, and again, what recency bias is currently the thing that you are not an expert in.
Yeah.
But you are giving it everything.
Yeah. To
no different to CrossFit training or coaching is you do want to do the best you can do. It's not you're a better actor than I am, right? But the point is, it's not. You need to be the best you can be.
Yeah.
How hard has it been to like change your identity?
Oh, mate.
Because you are I know you as Highmore the Scallywag, right? Then you go to Canada, and then you are Highmore the fitness guy, the CrossFit guy.
Yeah.
Again, you doubled in size and muscle mass. Like when I'd see you come back and see a very good friend of both of ours, Elliot Ray. El, if you're watching this, I miss you, brother.
I don't.
He doesn't mean that. But I think but there's been now a completely different change. Like I remember you coming back, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm going to go to London for a bit," and I was like, what's your plans? Are you going to coach there? You're going to, blah, blah, blah. I can maybe introduce you to some gyms that way. And you're like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, I remember that message.
Acting's everything, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I respect it. But like, hard to change your identity, or just like, this needs to be done?
Well, I remember what I was going to say about my previous point, and I'll tie it all in.
Yeah.
Going into a room to start acting, I finally felt what people feel like going into a gym who have never done any form of exercise or fitness.
Yeah.
And I knew it, and that was always, hopefully one of my strengths, is welcoming everyone into our gym when I was coaching, no matter who they were, and especially seeing people who I could tell that was like the bravest and scariest thing they've ever done, was walking into a gym, and especially a gym like this. This gym's amazing, but it's scary as shit when you walk in. Like, it's aesthetically a beautiful gym, but you're like, what is all this metal around? Like black and gold, like people like shirts off, like jacked, sweating, and you're like, oh my gosh. So I knew that was so hard for them, and they were like, and people would be honest. They would say like, I'm terrified right now. I'm like, don't worry, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna take this one step at a time and make it a really gentle process. So that was what it's like for me acting. I was like, I remember it was all on Zoom because it was still during COVID, but the first acting class I did, I was like, I know I've got to be here, but I saw these other students, and I was like, gosh, these are all like artsy people. They're people who have done drama and done, they sing, they dance, they do all this stuff. I'm like, I bet they're looking at me like, who's this fucking idiot? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's this gym guy? What's he doing here? I felt so insecure, but like, I'm like, all right, I got to show up anyway.
How long did it take for that to pass? Is it still there?
I felt it again come back into the UK, which I'll fast forward to. Not to the same degree by any means. It took a good couple years. I'd say it took almost until I left Canada, I would say. So it's 3 years from when I started. But about the identity switch, so it all kind of ties in. That's why I couldn't tell anyone.
Okay.
Well, it was like all the things I mentioned earlier about not being sure what it was, etc. I didn't want people to confuse me. Like, people needed to still see me as a coach, a CrossFit coach and a trainer.
Yeah.
I also was like, I'm not going to show my hand until I have something worth showing.
Okay.
And it's like, people are like, oh, just put yourself out there, do something. I'm like, I'm an infant right now. Like, there's no, You know, I think that's... when people
Oh, I'm an
watch-
actor. What have you been in? Oh, nothing. I've just done a class.
Yeah,
Okay,
the one
fine.
class, you know, and it's...
So whereas it's like you go, oh, yeah, I've got into acting. Oh, amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, I've actually done an advert.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Show me. Yeah, I will. This is what it looks like. Yeah.
And not to say you have to have a massive CV, but you need to feel like you're... I need to feel like I was. Like, I didn't feel like I was for a long time.
Well, you doing something, whether it's an advert, movie, extra, whatever, series, proof to yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You do the first one, it's like, oh, I am.
I can do this.
I
am, yeah.
Even if like, you might have seen it, you might not have seen it, but obviously a lot of what you're describing is that as imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
right?
imposter syndrome, yeah, sure.
So I've spoken about it a few times.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, niggles away at me sometimes. I'm way better with it now, but
yeah, I'm sure you experienced it with this place.
Right? Oh, massive.
Well, I remember when we had our chats, when we spoke, when you were telling me about thinking about opening a gym.
Yeah.
I know you've been doing it for a while and stuff like that, and I wasn't judging you by any means. I was like, oh, sweet, cool.
Chatted over Facebook, weren't we?
Good for you. And I was like, because you're like, oh, maybe I want to pick your brains on some things. And what was nice about that was I was like, oh man, like even though I know I've been doing it a long time and I had experience, I was like, oh, I have a lot to offer in terms of like a conversation. And I know for you, again, that you're a super confident person, but you're completely, essentially like brand new into this area.
Mate, yeah, do you know what? And it was, all of the things that I felt were also like, anyone would have felt it, I think, but it was made worse. And this is no one's fault but my vision, the way in which I saw it, right? But Ryan and Verity were so fucking good.
Right.
So I'm like, the bar's not just do my level 1 and coach a class.
Yeah.
The bar is do my level 1, coach a class, and be within touching distance of how good these guys are, right? Like the gap, it was like fucking in my head, I made it out to be this massive thing. They were nothing but amazing and supportive. Yeah, no Does that make sense? So like, and me and Ryan are friends, and we do have a relationship where we take the piss out of each other. Like, he'll say things to me which only a friend would say, right? In terms of banter. And I'll do the same back to him. So there would have been plenty of opportunities to go, fuck me when you did that workout, or you did that warm-up, you did that wrong, and blah, blah, blah. And banter me about it. And he never did. Good. Which is really good, because it would have been really easy within our friendship to be like, that was shit. Yeah. But it would have knocked my confidence if he had. So it's great for him, because obviously I'm his business partner. He needs me to walk into a room confident. But yeah, for me, the bar was so fucking high in my eyes, and it is. I think they're both amazing. Good, because it meant you got to partner with great people and build a business that you'd only want to build, which is, to your point, like having something that's everyone is more than qualified to do the job. But also with the banter thing, and that's kind of circling back to last episode, is like that you need to know how to read a room. Yeah. And some people, because some people can disguise being kind of a dick as like, oh, I was just bantering you. Yeah, yeah. I guess they call that gaslighting, right? Where it's like, I know that if you're new at, like, we train coaches all the time. And I'm not going to be like, oh man, you were an idiot when you taught a deadlift. You said it wrong. I'm like, okay, we need to learn from that. Right? Because what is the point in doing something that's going to cut someone down and not their confidence? And you are right. We could all name people, and we haven't got the same person in mind, but I could definitely name some people. I'm like, it's not banter, you're just a twat. Yeah, for sure. And you're just rude. Oh, mate, Oh, I was just having a laugh. No, you're not. Yeah. Just a wanker. It's like when people, make personal insults to something that wasn't, you weren't joking there, were you? You were being a dick. Or you don't know me well enough that you're in any position that you can make that joke. Does that make sense? For sure. Yeah, I suppose that's also a tough one for you to navigate, because you're coming back to the UK after 10, 12, how many years in Canada? 15. 15 years. Yeah. Right. So you're coming back and making new friends, new relationships, right? Yeah. And probably picking up for some old ones as well, where you're like, I'm not that guy anymore. Yeah. Maybe. Is that? I mean, I've just a thought that came out. Well, I was interested, especially coming back to Chippenham now, after, even being back in the UK a year and a half. It was in London, so it was a brand new... So to your point about identity, like changing your identity, that was really hard, because I was Tom the CrossFit guy in Vancouver and the trainer. And so although I started being more open about doing acting, and initially when I start telling people, especially like maybe clients or friends who aren't in the immediate friend group who I trust, I'm still just an actor who's just done classes, and I'm waiting to do my first project, where I've done one, it's a student film. And you're like, I'm acting now. But most people aren't like,
what have you been in? You know,
Yeah.
but like if you're like, oh, I'm acting now, but it's a transition where you're not just like, well, you're an actor because you are acting, but you've not got the kind of the title yet because you're just kind of getting started. The hard transition was to then go when I moved to the UK, and that was a big part of me living in Canada as well. I had to leave behind Tom the trainer there. I literally retired my jersey, I called it, like, as they would say in North America.
Yeah.
Would you say that in the UK?
Yeah, no, you would. I remember you telling me in it. Because I remember saying to you, I remember being like, bro, I can put you in touch with some gyms. If you want some coaching hours in London, I'm sure I can sort something for you. And you're like, no.
Mate, that's not the play, yeah.
That is behind me. I'm here to train.
Yeah.
Stay fit and healthy. That's something you're going to do your whole life. But you're like, I'm all in on the other thing.
Yeah.
Like that guy.
Well, and I put it was my old CrossFit hoodie. It was beat up by this point, but it was the last piece of CrossFit stuff I had from my old gym. And I threw it as I moved out of my old apartment, threw it in the trash compactor. And I was like, kind of like ceremonial, like retiring of the jersey. And when I moved back to the UK, when I met people now, and especially in London, no one knew me. And I was so excited to start afresh. And it was the same as when I moved to Canada. When I first moved there, I was like, I get to reinvent myself. I get to leave behind the guy, Tom, who didn't go to school.
Yeah.
So it was like a whole new identity shift. And then I got to come back, and when people were like, oh, what do you do? I'm an actor. But it took months for me to be, I was like, I'm an actor. You know, like it was hard to fully say it. But I also used to be a personal trainer. Like I'd have to qualify it.
Okay.
And then I could just start being like, no, I'm an actor. You know, and what's interesting about it is some people are like, oh, cool, don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Some people, oh, cool, tell me about it. Some people want to know, have you been? I'm like, oh, I haven't been probably in anything you've seen, maybe some small, whatever. And then some people, unsolicited advice. I've never had the most unsolicited advice of my life
Since this profession?
Since turning this profession.
Okay.
Despite being the oldest I've ever been and the most mature and confident and comfortable,
What?
people will just say, ooh, hey, that's a tough question. Ooh, yeah, it can be unreliable with work. Oh, they want to know about how many hours you're working, money. Oh yeah, like have you got back someone recently? I'm not going to go into the specifics because it could implicate, but recently someone was like, at dinner was like, oh, have you got a backup plan? What if it doesn't work out? Have you got a backup? Well, no, I don't, obviously, because I'm betting on myself to fail. If I have a backup plan, I may as well just do that job if I don't think I'm going to do, you know.
Yeah.
And also, like, I'm succeeding because I'm doing and I'm happy. Like, I'm like, this is the happiest I've ever been. They're like, do you have a backup plan? I'm like, did you not hear me? What I was doing before, I was miserable, and now I'm like the happiest I've ever been.
But that's people's misconception of like what success is, right?
Yes.
So people are like, you got to grind.
Yeah.
You got to be earning six figures.
Yeah.
You got to be hustling. You got to be investing. You got to be waking up at 2, going for a run at 4. Fucking cold bath at 5.
Cold bath 5 times a day. Yeah.
The point is though, is like you said, have you not listened? I'm the happiest, most fulfilled I've ever been.
And people think you're not an actor until you're an A-lister. Of course, it's like it feels, and it's a feast of famine business in a lot of ways because making money is tricky. But so that have you got a backup plan? And a few things like that. It was a couple other things they said in that moment. I was like, what are you talking about?
You're a polite guy. You're a nice guy. With something like that, do you want to like ridicule that person in that moment and be like, you're a wanker without calling them the W word?
Yeah.
Or do you just be like, do you tell them that it's offensive?
Yeah, I think there's like, it's navigating it in a way that's like, because it's, you talk about like our own personal, like, I hate these therapy words, but triggers. Like, I have to get over, if it makes me to the point where I lose my cool, then that's something I need to work on.
Yeah.
Right? Unless it's someone I've spoken to about it and then they keep saying it and I'm like, listen, I've told you this like 3 times, like stop.
Yeah.
But if it's just a case of them saying it for the first time, because a lot of time, and I could see it, it was someone projecting their own discomfort with the uncertainty of my job made them uncomfortable because they need structure and predictability.
Okay.
So I was like,
so can you relay that? So like, again, smart guy, educated, could you relay that in a way of being like, I'm going to tell you why you said what you said?
Yeah.
Or do you just be like, no point, don't know, you're not going to waste my time?
Well, a couple lessons learned from that. Me was being careful how much I divulged to someone new.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm just an open book, so I was comfortable, I'm fine with to be like, oh man, this X, Y, and Z. But I'm like, I don't need to tell everybody everything because they're not.
Not everyone has your.
Not everyone,
your-
well, and
your-
also, yes.
wants to see you win, right?
Well, yeah. and
Doesn't have your
it's-
best intentions at heart as well.
And it's also just, not everyone deserves it. Like, I don't know this person well enough to know their emotional capacity, you know how they think. So I'm like, intellect. Why am I giving you like all of me when it's just gonna drain me if you come back at me with something? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So it's for me. My personal lesson was just being conscious of what I share. But then also I was like, well, I navigated in a way that was basically like, why would I, for example, on the do you have a backup plan? Like, why would I bet against myself?
Yeah.
But I didn't snap or I didn't say anything. I didn't like just kind of
You should have
cower
said.
away from it or shy away from it.
Do you?
Yeah. But I also don't care
You're
enough.
miserable in your job. Do you have a backup plan?
I said it in a way that because I'm not going to make assumptions on them either, right? Like
Okay.
I could see that he was projecting his insecurities, but
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
That's just my read on it, my assumption. So I kind of navigate in a way that I was proud of how I navigated it. But
Yeah.
if we would hang out again, I would have the conversation. But I was like, I don't know if I'll ever see this person again, so I don't really care to tell them whatever in this moment. So, but I would in the future. I think another lesson was if someone was just saying stuff, I'm like, do you realize you might not give them the benefit of the doubt first time round?
Yeah.
Do you realize that what you're saying right now is like
Incredibly rude.
yeah, really rude and offensive and like not just like why would you say that? Would you say that to anyone else?
Yeah. Quick question. I probably should have asked it in the other episode because we touched on sort of time before. We touched on like, you know, is anyone surprised you in the old friendship group and stuff like that? Do you think you'd be Tom the CrossFit guy, Tom the actor, if you stayed in Chippenham?
I mean, it's almost irrelevant, isn't it? I don't know. It's hard to
Yeah.
say.
Oh, no. But I'm just thinking, was Canada sounds like it was a really good success for you.
Yeah.
You've come back to the UK with a level of confidence and skill set and stuff to continue your journey. But if you stayed in Chippenham, do you still do all these things, or do you think you keep the plumbing apprenticeship?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, do you conform to the norm?
Yeah.
And have you got your own construction company like many of your friends have and stuff like that? Or does that make sense?
I think there's like many different lives we all can lead many different lives, and like if you want to like meta it into like what is the universe, life, space and time, I'm like, oh, there's a timeline where Tom continued being, I was a plumber once, plumbing apprentice.
Yeah.
My goal was to own a plumbing business. I was like, oh, there's a timeline where Tom continued doing that.
Yeah.
And there's a timeline where Tom didn't move to Canada. This is the one that I did go and I got into CrossFit and continued on doing that. So I guess to answer your question though in like a normal way, is I think I touched on it a moment ago, I needed to go to Canada to reinvent myself.
Yeah.
Because of not going to school. And I didn't tell, I'm very open about this now.
Yeah.
It was only a few years ago that I started actually telling people. Like my closest friends, who I was friends with for years, like when we went into business, because they didn't ask, because it was irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like just to anyone out there who's maybe not, who's young and maybe not doing well in school or not taking a like traditional route, so much emphasis is placed on that time, education, GCSE. Education isn't just school.
No, absolutely
right?
not.
And most of it obviously isn't, but it gives you the foundation of certain things, obviously. But I needed to go, I needed to reinvent myself. I didn't tell anyone that I didn't go to school because I was mega insecure about it. But like even my perceived judgment of what people thought of me. Like when you said coming back, you could say, oh, I'm not that guy anymore. Like I was Highmore, I didn't go to school, who, whatever, X, Y, and Z. And so all those things, we've all experienced that, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you stay in your town, you stay in your friend group, and this is just like what my thoughts on it were, and it can be, is that you never get to really break away from that and reinvent yourself because people want to keep you down also because people don't like to see you change.
No.
Right? Because it makes them uncomfortable because they might start asking questions about themselves. Yeah. So I think I needed to go to Canada to reinvent myself, and that's led to me being where I am today, I suppose, which is back in Chippenham.
I had someone say to me a couple of years ago, "You've changed," but as if I should be insulted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I have.
And the minute I stop is a very worrying time. Right?
Yeah.
Not the person I was 5 years ago, let alone 10 or probably even a year ago,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. But everything that happens, good, bad, whether it's self-inflicted or not.
Overhead.
Yeah, definitely. Self-inflicted or not, all are part of here to change and evolve and learn, right?
Yep.
You don't just get to my age of 21 and stop learning.
Young baby like yourself.
Yeah, but no.
No,
It said to me like I should be insulted. And I was like, of course I have.
Of course you have, yeah. I think there's core things which can obviously potentially change negatively, which is like you're a really kind-hearted, caring, empathetic person. Life has beat you down enough to the point where you are now just mean and you know, don't care about anyone else, and you're sort of nihilist in your approach to life. There's that change, which is like, what happened to you? You used to be such a loving, caring person, and now you're awful.
Yeah.
But to be like, wow, you're just like way better spoken than you used to be, and you're like, you go to the gym all the time, you don't party every night.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a funny. It's funny. It'd be curious. I'd be curious to see whether you'd still be the sort of the man you are right now. Like I said, I think you were the.
Oh, mate.
If I had to call it a surprise, you were the surprise. Mm-hmm. But do you know what, mate? Just also in a really positive way. Like I said, you were friends with my brother, and we were definitely friends. But like we have way more in common now. As friends. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, we got better friends over the years. I think the thing was,
of course,
like, you know, when you're young, and there's an age difference, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Right? When you're in your teens and you're what, like 7, 8, 10 years older than me, or there's a few, and also when you're like your friend of your brother or whatever, like you're gonna hold a bit of a arm's length. But when I went away, we would kind of catch up when I came back, and we'd always end up seeing each other, right? Like,
yeah, we did.
And I had lost touch with so many people, but you were always someone who kind of I would see. So it's funny how it's worked out.
Yeah, mate. No, I agree. So like Canada, done, dusted, no regrets.
Oh,
You've
mate.
got your dual citizenship. If you wanted to go back, there's an option there.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't sound like you would. Why not?
I think I'm open to whatever.
Why coming back to the UK then for the acting? Would you have been better off being in America?
I mean, basically, what the simplest version of it is, when literally this time 2 years ago, I was like, right, I need to change. I sort of feel like I love Vancouver, and it's still such a big place in my heart, and I can't wait to go back again to visit. You know, who knows if I'll end up living back there, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, what are my options? It was to go to Toronto, which is, you know, obviously the biggest city in Canada, or I would love the opportunity to go to LA. Visas, everything's super hard for the US.
Yeah.
I went to visit my friend there 2 years ago, just like this time 2 years ago, and I was like, oh man, this place is so beautiful. It's, you know, weather and everything like that, but I just didn't have the option.
Yeah.
Well, I was also like, I know that life will take me on the right path.
I went to LA last April.
Did you? Oh yeah, I think so. I saw
Yeah. So my good friend Danny and his beautiful family live out there. So he met a girl out there, and they did long distance for a few years.
Cross-body ones?
Yeah, I just did a little cross-body one. Yeah. He met his wife there, married. He's now got a little boy, little Onyx Baker, man, cutest kid, like the cutest kid.
I've seen the
man, mate, honestly, yeah. So like, and he's, you know, he's one of my best pals. He's the happiest he's ever been, and like so grateful for his lifestyle out there. And I don't think he'd ever come back to the UK.
I forgot. I literally was just messaging with him on Instagram. Actually.
Oh yeah, man.
Because I was asking if he was coming back for Christmas, and he said that unfortunately not. But like, he
Yeah,
loves it out there, obviously.
yeah. I mean, it is funny, right? So when here before his LA life, it was like, UK's cold, wet, miserable. Like I'm over it. Get the summer here, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then last time he came back, he's like, it's just so hot here. I can't wait to come back and like see some leaves and, you know, a little bit of rain and stuff. So it just shows like whatever your life is anywhere in the world, you're always going to miss like little snippets of anything in the home. But I do think that their life over there is pretty damn good. I don't see him coming back this way.
Yeah.
And you know, I liked LA. Crazy traffic, bro. It was mad. I didn't love that. I loved San Diego. That was
San Diego's nice. Yeah.
So nice. there was quite a lot of people that I did speak to. It was mainly like taxi drivers and stuff, but it's like there's so many homeless people around in LA. I don't think they got a huge amount of support from COVID. Like, here we had like furlough, where we were like paid to stay at home. I don't know if you guys had something similar.
Yeah, there's similar schemes, but also I don't know if this is the issue in LA. If it's just cost of living and stuff like that. What you get in Vancouver, Canada, is like, because it's the warmest climate, people migrate west, and so people who are like living on the streets, who are homeless, who are in and out of kind of
some back
institutions.
Stuff?
Sure, institutions will tend to go there because it's a better climate.
Okay.
So it could be the same for LA as well.
Yeah, nice. Well, let's go for some face pulls.
Sure.
And then we could do some pull down rows, maybe.
Yeah.
From here.
Yeah.
We'll have a little play around.
Sounds good with me.
Nice, man. Nice.
But to your point about like, why did I come back here? So to finish that story, I guess I went to LA 2 years ago, October. Was like, oh, it'd be lovely to live here. Will I be able to get a visa? Probably not. Came back to the UK for Christmas then that year. And it was the first time in coming back since leaving that I was like, ooh, okay, maybe I could live here. And I was in London at my brother's place, and I think I was just like, this city is awesome.
Okay.
It's one of the best cities, one of the coolest cities in the world. I have the opportunity to be here. I had just got a relationship, so I was like, now is a good time. Like, I don't have any ties here. And it still was a wrestling match for the next kind of several months. But in the end, I got back to Vancouver and I was like, okay, let's see what happens. And I was still personal training, and started doing some acting jobs. And I was just like, I have to go.
Yeah.
I have to go. And then I had the opportunity to come to London and stay with my brother. And that was kind of like, look, I don't know how long this is going to be, but I know that that's the next step. Like when change is happening and you can't stop it. Again, I'm a big believer in things happening for a reason. You kind of being a bit guided on a path, the universe pulling you in a direction. I think we have to do steps to kind of push the momentum.
Yeah.
And I think I'd been working solid for 3 years on acting to get to the point where I was ready for change. But then it felt like I was basically being pushed from Vancouver and pulled to the UK.
Fine.
That's internally how it felt.
Were there many opportunities before you left Vancouver to get into opportunities on the acting front? Or did you feel like you had to leave Vancouver to then jump into them? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, there's a lot happening there. There's they call it, Hollywood North. So, who knows? There could have been, it seemed funny, obviously, to say, I'm going to come back to the UK to act when I've been just training there, and Vancouver's a good city to be in for acting. So there would have been opportunities there, and there are. I had an agent there that was still trying to get me work since moving back to the UK.
Yeah. Whenever you said agent, and guess who I thought of immediately?
Ari Gold?
No, but that would have been cool.
That, yeah.
No, I thought of Joey from Friends.
Estelle, yes. Joey. Yeah. An old lady smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
No, so I was still trying to get work there, but ultimately it's just worked out. I got an agent here, and I've been working pretty steady throughout the year. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's like any career. I look at it like you've got to just work and get better and get better and get better, get more experienced.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just doing, most jobs right now that come on my, that I get the opportunity to do.
There's no difference to being in a trade, right? You're building a portfolio.
Yeah.
And then you're also, with that, going, actually, I really like that. I want to do more of that, that is not for me, right?
Totally.
So there's only one way, I think, in anything. Oh, so take a knee to the ground, and then pull, but almost like you're pulling round to get elbow to hip.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, mate, no, I'm fair. Mate, and I'm going to ask a question, and you don't need to tell me numbers, absolutely not.
Yeah.
When I think agent, I'm assuming, do they take a fee?
Yeah, it's a percentage.
So they take a percentage of whatever you're paid.
Yeah, it's usually
but they're presenting you the work. So a little bit like if you were a tradie, but you get all your opportunities from a certain website.
Yeah.
Fine. So they're just taking a little finder's fee.
Yeah. And
cool.
they'll deal with the contracts, they do all the they'll bill the company and they'll send you the money. You know, they kind of just middleman all the
Nice.
details. But all and especially any big company will only work with agents. They don't work with you directly. Whereas small jobs will
Yeah.
you can work with them directly. But yeah, so they'll usually 15 to 20% is kind of like pretty standard. Maybe 10 with some agencies, but it's usually 15 to 20%
Yeah.
is what they'll take.
Fine. But yeah, if they're presenting you with opportunities, then happy days.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
can you have more than one?
Some, yes, but most will want exclusivity because it gets convoluted, right? It's like, and especially if you've got a bit of a rep, you know, like once you get, like let's say you're, you know, sort of B or A-list status,
Yeah.
and you're getting work brought to you because they're like, I want Ryan
Him.
Nichols in
Yeah, yeah.
this thing, and they're like, well, which agency do I go to? It's kind of like a coin toss,
okay.
and then also just like
And that one agent could charge a little bit less than the other one, right?
potentially. I mean, there's industry standards so that they don't end up in like a race to the bottom. But
Okay.
there's also like if we were both agents and we both submitted our client for the same job, then the company's like, oh, which one am I working with here and why? I submitted them. No, I submitted them. So it's like it just gets too
Fine.
convoluted. So it's just like one agent usually is the one.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting little world.
Yeah. Cool.
Learning all of those details, you know.
And so will you have certain agencies that work in film, work in advert, work in like UK TV? How do you pick one?
Modeling. Well, I mean, it depends on where you're at in your career. You know, for me, when I was starting out, especially, it's like you just hopefully you can get one,
Right. Okay.
right? And people still have that issue if you're not getting work, if you're not booking work, especially if you were to go with like a really big agency. You know, if you don't book something in, you know, probably the first like 6 months, it's like, all right, see you later.
Okay.
You know, it
So
can be as cutthroat as
they
that.
they could put you through to auditions 10. You could get none of them. They go, you're not for me. 'Cause they got to make money off you,
They
right?
make money, yeah.
Interesting.
Because they're working a lot without getting paid as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, in sales, right? You
Yeah,
do
yeah.
a lot
Well,
before.
in my head, I'm thinking it's like recruitment. You tell me you're looking for a new job. I take your
Oh,
CV.
yeah, yeah.
I call all these companies getting interviews. You don't get You don't get the job because
Yeah.
I don't get paid.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to. But that's how. That's what is. I'm like, it makes sense.
But think
Interesting.
about it, because if their job is, and obviously, the more experience you get, the more you have to offer, and the more you've proven yourself. You know, you go to bigger agencies who can say, "Hey, I can get you in the room with these kind of producers, these kind of networks." So if their job is to get you in the room or get you an audition, which most of the time now is a self-tape, so you record it at home and submit it, you know, online. If they're getting you the auditions, but you're booking none of them, and ultimately, like, it's, you know, like every actor will say it is, you know, you're booking, you know, 1 out of 100 type thing, you know, not necessarily, it depends on the size of the projects, etc. But like, you're booking far less than you audition for.
Yeah.
But if, certainly I'm sure like a year in, if you've been given a variety of different things and you've not booked one of them, then it's like, okay, what's going on here? You know, so the agent's going to probably be like, well, it's not worth their time.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. No, that's interesting. It makes sense. So, like, again, this is going to be a super expansive question. What's the goal? Like, you're already an actor,
Yeah.
right? You've lived in London for the last 18 months. You've done the hustle, right?
Yep.
I probably imagine you've had to be available
Oh, yeah.
on days where you've already made plans and stuff like that. And
For sure.
you know, and maybe you've done some things where you're like, I'd never do that again, or work in that environment again, or whatever.
Yeah.
But what's the plan? What do the next 5 years look like? Are you someone where you're like, I love film, or I love stage, or is it music? Is it like, is there something where you're like, if I could pick the perfect path
Yeah.
at 42, 43, what does that look like?
I think, I mean, I definitely have a dream couple of roles for sure.
Yeah.
But it's currently film, like screen, TV film is what I love doing and have loved doing. It's what I first started doing. I just did my first theatre show. And whilst it was cool, you know, it was an experience. It was a good experience. I wasn't, and you know, there's like circumstances around that, you know, would it be different if it were the West End, you know, a classical play that was like, you know, this amazing, but was it something where I was like, oh my God, like some actors you meet and they're like, I love stage, I love theatre, you know, that's all I want to do.
I hear some of the old like classic actors almost say stuff like that. Like I feel like maybe you know, like a Sean Connery might have said that. Or
Theatre's my first love.
yeah,
For
absolutely.
some people it is. And, you know, it depends
Whereas
on what you do, I think.
I don't imagine The Rock is turning around going, theatre is my first love.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, you know, it depends on the obviously individual. If that was what you started doing, if you did it in school maybe, and you know maybe you're trained in Shakespeare, you know that kind of stuff, and if you've experienced some like really amazing stages, I think there's something amazing about.
Pulled down,
I think there's something amazing about performing a show from start to finish.
Yeah.
Which I really loved, and I'd be down to do again for sure. Like when you're filming a film, you are chopping it up and you're doing small scenes, so it's like 15 seconds to a minute. You don't get to just like, and you're doing it in different. You're doing like, and then the first scene you might shoot might be the last scene of the film or the second last scene of the film. You know, so it's none of it's in chronological order.
Okay.
Whereas the theatre, you get to do it from start to finish, which is fun. But I didn't like this sort of waiting all day to perform in the evening.
Yeah.
I like to just get up and start working. I mean, you know, go to the gym and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, it didn't. The lifestyle didn't really suit. So to answer the question, film, TV, dream. I mean, right now it's just like, just keep doing.
Yeah.
You know, I love fantasy, kind of like sci-fi fantasy films that kind of have endless possibilities.
Yeah.
But I also love like medieval. So like, for example, a show like The Witcher, where it's got like, and Lord of the Rings, sword fighting and magic, you know, I'm a big fan of that. I also love like intense dramas that are very emotionally charged, you know. I think probably having had some pretty heavy emotional experiences in the last few years, I think there's certainly a part of me that wants to tell certain stories that make you feel the things that, you know, that you're kind of holding inside. But I'd love to do something like a big action. I mean, ultimately, James Bond would be the dream,
bro,
you know?
I was about to say Bond.
I think every British guy would love to be James Bond, you know?
Man.
But so I think, but like Lord of the Rings type shows, anything like that, like I love those types of shows.
Nice. Mate, I want to stay on the acting very quickly, and I've got a couple more questions, and then we're going to tidy up and end episode 2, bro, right? But it's been really fun. Well, what would you say is almost the one thing that for you jumps out that no one would expect in reference to acting? Is there like, so here you go, you've just said you could be in a movie or a series, and you're like, the first thing I could record could be the ending, and then it's all chopped up and blah blah blah. Apart from that, because you've already shared it with us, what's the one thing that surprised you about the new career where you're like, bro, I did not know they did this, or is there anything that jumps out? Or were you fully schooled through, I mean, you've just said you've done a good few years of acting school, and that started online and then in person, and then you've got an acting friend that got you opportunities and stuff like that. So were you ready for everything, or have you done something and you're like, that is not what I expected?
No, I think you're now like, you feel, I was like as ready as I could be. It's like, you know, go sort of fly the nest.
Yeah.
You've been here long enough, like, but then it's like learning on the job.
Okay.
But you're still never ready for everything that comes at you. I mean, my first film, it was a student film in Vancouver. It was great. I felt such a wonderful experience. Everything I was hoping it was going to be.
Yeah.
My second film, I had to do it with a Canadian accent, which I'm fine to do. But I just remember like someone said something at one point, and it really made me self-conscious, and they didn't realize what they were saying and how it was interpreted.
Yeah.
And I was like, panic attack on thing, like not like old school panic attack, but like, I'm a fraud, I don't belong here. It was the first scene of the film, you know, like I was filming the first scene that day, and it was like, you know, anyway. But I guess like some of the not so glamorous behind the scenes bits, you know, you think of it like this really cool, really
Where's my trailer?
Thing. Yeah, definitely not at this point. But I think it's like, it can be so cool, like when you see a shot, you know, and it's lit beautifully, and like there's a moment before, this is what I love about film, well, lots of things, but when all the cameras are set up, or usually two cameras, and all the lights are set up, and there's everyone's done their part, like art department's made this beautiful set, the lighting department, like everyone's taken such pride in their jobs. And then, you know, you're like, just before you're about to walk on, it's this like beautiful thing, and you're like, right, now it's my time to do my job, like I'm prepped. And then you just look like maybe your scene partner's there, and you just look and someone's just like eating a Kit Kat or something like that, or like eating a pack of crisps on the side. And what you would see from in front, like when you're watching it on TV, is you're like, oh my God, that's so beautiful.
Look at that,
so
look
cool.
at the backdrop.
And then there's like John the sound guy just eating like a pack of Walker's crisps. So I think it's just those little moments where you're like, it's hilarious, but you're also like, okay, this is a really sad emotional scene. I mean, they're not eating whilst you're doing the scene, obviously. But it's the contrast of what's happening on camera to like in the background what's happening, and it's trying to stay present and stay in it when that's going on, I think.
Yeah. And you spoke earlier on about like having to have like emotions ready to go, whether it be a crying scene, anger scene. Is that hard?
It was really hard at first. The thing about it is, it was hard when I was doing training, like because it was being honest. Again, that's what I was talking about earlier. It's being honest in a room full of people where you don't normally do that. And I knew I was able to do it. And that final sort of experience I had with Rich passing away, my friend passing away, you know, we were in a group of friends, a group of guys, there was like 10 of us, and we all were crying on each other's shoulder. So I was like, I knew anger's in me, I knew sadness is in me, I knew happiness is in me, but we don't usually show it. So training to do that comfortably in front of a room full of people where you were mega self-conscious was really, really hard.
Yeah.
And then I got through it, I got over it. So in terms of what you do, everyone's different. Like, it's not just like, oh, I need to think of sad things. I mean, like, you know, you see a lot of actors say these kinds of things. Everyone is different. I don't need to think of my friend dying to make me cry. Yeah. And people from actors will joke about it. They could be like, oh, the sandwich that I want wasn't on the lunch table, so that makes you cry.
Yeah,
you know, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. So I think it's just doing whatever prep you need to do to give you whatever emotion it is. And for some people, that's anger. Yeah. I didn't want to show anger because I was like, you know, and you could talk about this as a men's thing or anybody in society, that's so unacceptable. If I started raging, that's such a social faux pas, like, and everyone would be like, God, lock this guy up, he's mental. So when my acting teacher, one of my earlier ones was like, have anger abandonment. He's like, just lose your mind. And he's like, you know, place someone in the back of the room, tell them this, say that to them. And I was like, he's like, you're holding back. I was like, because I'm scared of like letting go fully. Yeah. So I think there was lots of things you have to, and then that's what, you know, the great actors, you see them when they have a moment, and whether it's anger or sadness, and you can just tell they're experiencing every moment of it. Nothing of it's performative. They're not holding back. So even when you start to get there with it, to fully let go into it is a skill in itself.
And who's your favorite actor?
I don't know if I've got a favorite. Some of the people I love right now, like Cillian Murphy comes to the top of my head. Yeah. Love watching him. I love Daniel Craig in Bond.
Who do you think is the best actor of all time?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I always loved DiCaprio. When I was like watching him growing up, I was like, I'd watch any film he does. I had someone else in my mind there. I love Matthew McConaughey. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
He's a cool guy, bro.
He's just a mate.
He's a cool guy.
What a dude.
Yeah, mate. He's a cool guy.
So I don't know.
Tom, we're at the end of episode 2, bro. We've got the questions in, man. I've really enjoyed it. Guys, that is the end of episode 2. This has been an absolute pleasure. I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. Tune in next week for episode 3. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, bro. Thanks, man.